Sugar. How many years have you been struggling with sugar? How long has it been since you have actually gone maybe sugar-free? Do you feel that you're at the mercy of sugar? Anything sweet and anything savory? Is the temptation just consistently too hard to resist? Well, if it is, stay tuned, because in this video, I'll talk to you about the drawbacks of sugar at a very high level, and also some practical steps that you can incorporate in your life to progressively drop sugar out of your eating. So if I was to talk about all the drawbacks of sugar, this video would probably extend out to 35, 40, maybe even 60 minutes. So I'm just going to focus on a couple of key points. So the most obvious one that's front of mind for me, and no doubt it's in front of mind for you, is weight gain. So why does sugar lead to weight gain? Naturally, it's nutrient sparse, doesn't have a lot of nutrients, and it is very calorie dense, so very high in calories, which will probably more often than not, overstep our calorie budget. It creates inflammation in our body. So with inflammation, one way we can practically notice that is that we have big fluctuations in scales and abdominal bloating. Okay. One thing to also consider is that sugar hasn't got a huge satiety factor with it. So we can actually eat a lot of foods that have sugar in them. The second thing to consider, even though it's not directly linked to or causative of, is the consideration around anxiety and depression. Now, sugar does not cause anxiety or depression, but sugar increases irritability, reduces our ability to cope with stress, leads to mental fogginess, which inadvertently, and as a byproduct, would and does significantly impact the symptomology of anxiety and depression. Thirdly, it speeds up the aging process. Basically, sugar makes us older, and this is linked to what we call telomeres, which is at the end of our chromosomes, and I'll share more detail around the telomere structure in the session notes. And fourthly is obviously energy. If you are consistently eating foods that are highly processed, that have a lot of sugar in it, you are going to experience the ebbs and flows of sugar. That is linked to the glycemic index, which is basically how quickly the food is broken down or the sugar is broken down in your body. You'll basically get these very big spikes, which having these very big spikes will affect mood, which also links back to what I mentioned earlier around anxiety and depression. So we've looked at the drawbacks of sugar. Okay, now let's look at six strategies that we can start to incorporate into our daily, weekly, and monthly life to progressively take sugar out of our diet. So let's look at the practical steps in which we can progressively take sugar out of our eating. So firstly, identify how on earth is it a problem for you. Get very specific for you. How is it a problem? Not just now, but if you were to consistently consume sugar in the future, how might that be a problem? Start amplifying the pain associated with sugar. Secondly, think about a sugar audit. So what I mean by that, so audit your pantry, but most importantly, audit your day. Where might be sugar creeping in? Read the nutritional labels, okay? All these sorts of things to become quite conscious of where sugar is residing in your day. Thirdly, increase protein. The reason why I talk about increasing protein is protein assists you with feeling more satisfied. So it could be one strategy that could reduce the appetite trigger linked to sugar. Fourth is making sure that you hit your vegetable serves. So get at least 5 cups of brightly colored vegetables. 5 cups of brightly colored vegetables. Go to that first. Fill your salads up, fill your sandwiches up with that. Add more bulk with less calories, high in nutrients, okay, which also impacts on the satiety levels within your body, okay, within your brain as well. Okay, and fifth, go big and green and go berries. So what do I mean by that? Big and green, go a big apple, go big pears. Big apple, big pears, lowering glycemic index. Believe it or not, small apples, small pears that are red or green have higher in glycemic index, which means you're going to get a bigger sugar spike. Okay, and then berries, so very high in antioxidants, very high in vitamins and minerals, and also quite sweet. Okay, without the compounding effect of sugar is your blueberries, your strawberries, your raspberries, and your currants. Okay, and obviously your strawberries. And then fifth, okay, book your sugar in. Why not book it in? book a date with sugar. So choose times in the day or times in the week, okay, where you actually are going to have things like ice cream or whatever it is that you have a tendency to go towards. Okay, make sure you book it in. Okay, you can't go from everything to nothing. And then 7th, and I just add this one in. Make sure you reward yourself. Each day you make a small progressive shift that can assist you in letting you know that you are improving. So acknowledge success along the way. So we spoke about the drawbacks of sugar. We spoke about a practical strategy in regards to how we can progressively drip sugar out of our day, out of our week, and out of our month. But the most important thing to think about is why. Why do you want to take sugar out of your eating? Okay, sometimes it's opposite to the pain you might be associated with in regards to consuming too much sugar. Okay, not just necessarily now, but into the future. What are the benefits of being sugar-free or progressively taking sugar out of your eating? How are those benefits of direct service, value, and benefit to you, benefit to the people you care about, your immediate family, your extended family, your friends? And how is that going to assist by reducing sugar out of your day? How is it going to be beneficial in your personal life and in your professional life?